Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks, another match beyond all reason. Today, taking a look at Coombe Valley. It's a map as old as the game itself. It comes from way back in the day. It coombs from way back in the day, and it's stuck around with us for a good long while because of, well, just its tendency towards some really wonderful level of matches here. So spawning on the southern side, representing the blue team, is a Cortex commander. I am inevitable. Love that username. I really feel like that instills a nice sense of terror into the enemy, right? Just the ever-encroaching horde. Gives you a real sense of Zerg or Tyranid. Definitely my favorite races to play in their respective games. All the way across the map here, spawning as a Cortex commander and representing the red team, coming in at 43 true skill and silver chevrons to boot from Canada. It's going to be Delphi. Delphi here going to be putting down that bot lab and spawning on the northern highlands, just exactly opposite to the blue team leader here. I am inevitable, who's going to be spawning on the southern highlands here. Not the way that Coombe is balanced, though. They're not mirrored diagonally across from each other, but they're similar positions. Well, I guess they are. For some reason, I thought these mountains were different, but it looks like they're basically the same. Although this one doesn't have this little protective sheath on the end of it right there, whereas this one, yeah, has a little bit of a bulb to protect it. Huh, interesting. A little bit of a dyssynchrony from north to south on the map. Definitely not an imbalance, but just a little cheeky thing to be aware of. Spawning on the front lines right here, Monkey RTS for sure. Purple player on the blue team here, as well as the green player, the dark green player, KD149, both of which moving forward right now after claiming those valuable 3.5 metal extractors. Going to be quite good for getting that early game economy up and running. We do have a back vehicle bay right here for the green commander. We have a forward vehicle bay for the purple commander. All said and done, I think both of those are reasonable options right now. Now we do have same thing over on this side of the map. We have Cortex and Armada vehicle bays coming up one against the other here, both of which going to be coming up basically in a mirror matchup right here on the front lines is what I'm trying to say. Gof going to be going for some of those vehicles as well, and it looks like Vzaya also going to be doing likewise here. Pretty much a mirrored matchup all the way across the face of this battle. Even Screwish going for bots right here up against I Will Conquer. Man, what a game, huh? We're going to be completely mirrored side to side right here for both of these teams on both of the sides, both of these players. Yeah, everybody and their mother is going for exactly the same builds here. A little bit of a exploiter coming up right here. We'll have to see it. That armed metal extractor can be very valuable for holding on to some of those key positions here. A couple of rovers do find the constructor there that was working on that. They're going to start harassing it. Always a viable strategy. There they go, blasting away another rover. Can they get a metal extractor? The very first aggression of the game, and will they be able to capitalize on it? Ooh, they sure will. Yeah, they get the metal extractor. Nicely done. Definitely justifies the aggression right there, making it all well worth it. There's a couple of maroon tracked vehicles or maroon rovers sent across the map here, going up against well, Blitz and a couple of counter rovers. Going to be shot down quite nicely here. Looks like a single rover did make it through, by the way. The blockade was ran, and the last rover does make it into the backline here. Oh, it's going to be blasting away. Oh no, can we eat this up? Eat this up. Use those constructors. Ooh, yeah, that rover's actually going to get another kill. Definitely shouldn't have. That was a little bit sloppy right there from the Maroon commander. Not paying attention to his main base right there, and the rover will get, well, for one, it'll get a massive scout right there. It also kills the metal extractor, which is nice. Denying a little bit of economy, always very powerful. Sorry, adjusting my volume right here. Feels like settings have been tweaked again. I sure hope not. Checking my systems, making sure everything looks nominal. I think everything looks all right. We'll keep going. I guess if everything doesn't look all right, this wouldn't be put up on YouTube though. Lex only here, going for a lot of these exploiters. So they're very expensive. They're 240 metal apiece. Makes them quite resistant against a lot of that T1 trash that can kind of come out in the early game and oftentimes snipe some of those more valuable positions. But it does come at quite a expensive startup cost. Yeah, you're pulling metal out of it, and so it takes a lot longer to repay your metal debt, and especially on the back of vehicles as well. Ugh, it can be very expensive. I don't wonder if maybe what Vismund Kygnus. I don't wonder if our tank commander might have a better idea here, just going for a whole bunch of LLTs and using those as static defense rather than building those very, very expensive exploiters. Looks like at the very least KD149 seems to agree, though. The exploiters are pretty good. Goes for one of them, even though it does get shot down here by a couple of grunts that ran by. That will be re-queued here, though, so all will be well. Governor and Delphi both fighting it out over here, although I gotta say, Delphi's army is looking quite a bit more compelling right now. The Seafoam commander here definitely in a lot of trouble as these activators start to push forward. Not the most accurate bundle of troops you've ever seen, but certainly putting in some work. Oh, that was a good volley right there. Taking nearly 25% of that commander's health off in just a single volley of rockets. It's rare that they get a connection that tasty. Usually the Rocketeers struggle quite a lot, but in this case here, yeah, very nicely done by Delphi. Gonna be able to claim that. Oh, well, was thinking at the very least about claiming that metal extractor. Very tricky. Yeah, commanders have to stay on the front line to tank for their rocket bots here. Like they were eating up that metal here. Would love to see the metal extractor. I think if we put that metal extractor down, it's gonna be a nice little boon here to the red commander. He is being flanked right now by Goth, though, who's pushing up that hillside right there. A little bit of a run by with some blitzes here. A blitz by. There they go, making it into the back line right now and causing whole loads of havoc. Would love to see some splits here. And not gonna be the case. Okay, we're gonna settle for a single advanced solar panel, a couple of wind turbines as well. It is a lot of metal down the drain. It's 370 metal. Now put to waste right here, but those blitzes are pretty expensive too. I think it probably just about equals out with those, yeah, the energy production being pretty low right there, but also the, yeah, failure to retreat any of these troops out of there is definitely going to cost the purple commander, at the very least, army presence on the front line for a little while here. Grunts running around causing mayhem for these rocket bots, though. I Will Conquer definitely going for a tremendous force of aggravators here, but feeling the burn as those, yeah, laser bots do run on by and essentially ignore the rockets that are being fired left, right, and center, right on over their shoulders. Ooh, yep, if we can avoid those rockets, then those grunts can get some tremendous value out right now and allow the the Rockevaders, the aggravators from Skirmish here to take a phenomenal trade. Yeah, look at those grunts. They're doing so well, and they're also activating that flanking bonus, too. Just the fact that they're shooting from behind means that these rockets are going to do essentially double damage right now from the Cyan commander, which is quite nice. This tells me there was a little bit of a commander trade right here. You can see the warped earth bent beneath those commanders here as, yeah, some of those aggravators appear to have brought low the blue and yellow commander, both of which appear to have, at the very least, traded out, if not died one after another. Maybe the blue commander died eating up the wreckage over here. Either way, the majority of this metal is going to go back to the yellow commander. Doesn't even have a way to spend it all, so most of it just overflowing to the team right now. Still going to be a tremendous situation, as we can see the metal bars spiking all over the place for the, yeah, the red team, suddenly, all of them with a nice little overflow of metal. Are we going to go for T2, though? There's an excellent opportunity to go for T2. Not going to be the case. Doesn't look like it. Maybe. Okay, we're going to start up more build power here. Just doubling down on T1. I don't think there's really enough metal. Because there was no storage, there wasn't really enough kept in the bank in order to go for T2. So I think, yeah, just keeping on T1 and making sure to reapply pressure is probably going to be the best bet here. Riot tank being repaired by the commander actually does a decent job of holding the line over here. Yeah, you know what? Extremely sturdy once it has that commander behind it, giving it essentially an infinite HP pool. Adjust the camera here so we can get a better view of what's going on. And Sizers jump forward, but they all go down right there. That's going to be quite a lot of metal available. Yeah, you can see 1.2 thousand. It's quite a large field right here. Most of that metal is tied up over on this side here, so not really accessible to the Cyan commander, but still a decent pool of metal still available over here. If we take a quick look, yeah, about 500 metal or so available within easy arm's reach of the Cyan commander. I Will Conquer. Getting dangerously close right here. Well, that's funny. I Will Conquer and I Am Inevitable. Very similar names. For a second there, I was thinking, wait a second. I thought this was, thought this player was on the blue team. They're just very similar names right there. That's funny. Lightning turret blasted down by some of these shell shockers. Always tricky to fight those lightning turrets. They're so good against tick spam, which is usually how you get them to pop their shells out. Yeah, you've kind of got to keep these parked right here so that they can fire with full force against this turret. But man, does it mean you take heavy losses right here. Ugh. So many of those shell shockers going down right there. My goodness, the turret's still alive. 2% HP on that turret. I think eventually it'll fall as these shell shockers rain down on top of it. Those are much more resistant when they have when they're tucked into their little shell. That's why they're having a lot of trouble breaching through there right now. Definitely a very efficient lightning turret. More and more forces down south here. You know, despite that massive metal advantage here, it doesn't really feel like the yellow player has that tremendous of an army going. We have the Mesas and we have the Rocketeers, both of which working in great unison right here. But there's just so much mass available for the blue commander. You know, that being said, there's a construction turret, but there's no LLTs over, or sorry, no res bots over here. So Any units that do go down are going to stay down, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, the resbots over here are keeping all of these units nice and patched up. Those maces are extremely sturdy when they've got the resbots behind them. Resbots obviously resurrecting things as well. Yeah, the thugs are essentially wiped out right here for the blue commander. You know what? What an excellent little push right there. Yeah, yellow commander doing a fabulous job of pushing forward into the blue, using just enough resources to make this efficient. Very, very nicely done. Yeah, resbots have the difficult task of patching this army back together, but those T1 units are not too hard to put up and running here with just a couple of resbots, as you can see. And soon enough, this is just going to be a more and more pressing advantage right here for the yellow player as more of these units come up and online. Love to see that. Do we have any more resbots coming out? I would love to see maybe one or two more. Looks like we have sprinters. Oh, okay, so we've got a console that was handed out from the backline, apparently. We're going to be making some of those sprinters. We'd love to see a Weber or two pumped out as well. Oh, wait, do we not have Webers anymore? Oh. Oh, the Weber. Oh, no, we do have Webers. Okay, they're just not on the main menu, the Tier 1 menu. There we go. This T1 army now pushing forward. Now, at this point, I feel like it's probably well worth it to, yeah, just eat up a lot of this. We've effectively shut down the T1 army for the opponent right here, so I feel like the yellow commander A polygon would be well suited to just eat all this up, go into a T2 transition, and use the units basically as defense. 1.3 thousand metal right here. Maybe not quite comfortable with this advantage yet, though. Still wanting to push it just a little bit further, just to make sure that there's no retaliation coming this way. Air Scout gets a perfect look at what's going on over here. Geothermal's been claimed, by the way, by Skirmish. Nice little fortification up on this hill. He's got a pop-up turret, got those LLTs, basically making sure that this all stays safe. Yeah, we're not resing at all. We're just going for a whole bunch of, or rather, we're not reclaiming at all. We're just going for a whole bunch of resurrections here. Now, sprinters are on their way across, going to try and get some work done here. Definitely a dangerous unit to deal with. The Armada equivalent to the Fiend, although I would hesitate to call it an equivalence. They're a little bit worse. Still just as fast and just as deadly, though. Maybe that's a bit of a contradiction, right? Not equivalent, but, you know, just as fast and just as deadly. I like that we're doing the sprinter production over here. I definitely think that's powerful. We just need some sort of way to make sure that this advantage doesn't slip out of control right now. The sprinters are going to be great, but the more and more that we kill enemy units over here, the more that it's just going to turn into a metal feed. Oh, sprinter whittling down this geothermal right here. Oh, it's got it at about half health already. My goodness, he's got 6% HP. Can he do it? 20, 15, 5. Boom goes the geothermal. My goodness, single sprinter with 6% HP manages to take down the geothermal right there. Man, what a massive hit to the economy of the Cyan player. Taking out 300 energy per second right there is absolutely brutal. Yeah, these red spots have just been working away in the backline over here, patching up whatever units they can. Sprinters here pushing back any of those thugs that get a little too close here, and then the maces and the rocketeers providing that solid base for the army to just continue marching forward. Very, very nice to see. So this is costing the blue player right now, but it's benefiting the yellow player. So the blue player is paying for this army that's constantly being resurrected, revived, and sent back in his own face, whereas the yellow player is essentially just pumping out those T2 units that are going to be a whole lot more efficient. Although I will say the sprinter probably not the most efficient unit to use here. Still going to work wonders, though. We're up to T2 vehicles from both sides here in this northern fight. Gof does, however, have this high ground. Love to see a geothermal plop down up there. Maybe a little bit of build power. Very far forward T2 laboratory on the front lines right here for Delphi. Sheldon coming up as well. Going to be a Cortex battle in the north, Armada battle right here in the north-south. Bit of just a tricky battle right here in the middle. We've got Cortex and Armada. Big mixed forces coming up right here. Still all T1, mind you. Would love to see some T2 constructors handed out, especially to get those 3.5 metal extractors up and running. Yeah, the Sheldon are firing away, but man, those Shuriken, or not the Shuriken, the medium tanks here resisting the Sheldon quite nicely. Shuriken blasting away at a whole bunch of the forces right here for the, is it the brown commander? Yeah, it is. Beastie Pet. You know what? The resbots are out now for the blue commander, and the army has grown to such size that it really just isn't viable to push into this anymore. Yeah, you know what? Just like that, that tremendous metal advantage that once was heavily in the yellow player's control now effortlessly glides back into the blue player's control. He's going to be able to afford a full-blown T2 transition. Yeah, going for a whole bunch of solar panels. Very metal expensive, but that's exactly what we need right now. We need a way to spend all that juicy reclaim. More and more resbots handed over here. Thousands and thousands of metal going to be stored in the bank right now. T2 metal extractors coming up. Yeah, you know what? I Am Inevitable has been given an opportunity to crawl back into this game right here. A bunch of Webbers are coming up, but there's no more army to support these. So yeah, they're going to have a great time feasting on whatever corpses they can find out here, but there's not really a whole lot left. Yeah, these resbots have eaten up already the vast majority of it. And also, it's not like these Webbers can actually do all too much. They can't do damage. Gunslinger's coming up right now. And just like that, the yellow player has definitely thrown a little bit of the advantage out the window here. It's nice that we have the T2 metal extractors up at the very least. Gunslingers are coming up as well, which will be quite good against this T1 army, at the very least. Yeah, Weber's forced to retreat off the front right now. We need those gunslingers back immediately. Somebody in the spectator chat drawing up a storm. I'll do the commentating, thank you very much. Everybody gets a say in this game. There were some comments about that. I'm still on the fence about a spectator chat. It's always been a bit of a contentious issue whether I should keep it on or turn it off. We tried a couple games without it, and then you miss some things here and there. We tried some games with it. Well, we tried most games with it, and sometimes it can be a little distracting. Always trouble. Nice Gremlin usage over here, using that stealth tank to spy on what's going on over here. Maroon Commander suffering heavily for it. Definitely taking some serious damage right now. Pitbull firing away at the bull. No longer being repaired either. The rover spam is quite nice. Rattlesnake firing away as well. Rattlesnake doing a whole lot of work over here. Definitely melting away a lot of that static defense. Quite powerful. Would love to see a Rattlesnake over here, although that being said, Arbiters are absolutely blasting away a whole lot of these units that are up here on this hillside, so that's tricky to deal with, especially if you're trying to hold that with just T1. I hear the spy bot. I don't see the spy bot. I have no idea where that spy bot just detonated. I hear a spy bot detonation, but I didn't catch where it was actually at. Do we have any nukes coming up? Maybe that was the play. No, it doesn't look like it. We are starting T3 right now in the backline, though. Victor 12 going to be going for a full-blown T3 production at this point. RTS for sure. Still pushing in. It's a mixed T1 and T2 bag, though, so always tricky. Arbiters and Sheldon blasting away at the army right here for Governor. A lot of that T1 static defense is going to melt away lickety-split. There's a pop-up Dragon's Maw over here, the pop-up Flamethrower. Can oftentimes catch these units by surprise, and these T2 units are quite flimsy. The Sheldon and the Arbiter, neither one of them known for their extreme resiliency. My goodness, we're drawing a lot in chat today. Got some Pablo Picassos in the chat, apparently. Gunslingers here. I think these need to be trading out against this T1. Yeah, if we're not trading out for the T1 units right here, I really don't think we're going to be getting our values out from those gunslingers. That being said, Fusion Reactor is up and running right now, so could go into an energy converter, going into a little bit of anti-air defense as well here. Love to see it. Preparing for the very worst. There's actually no tremendous air plays coming up right here for either team, really. Yeah, both teams kind of neglecting the air advantage. Kind of surprising. Usually we see air coming up right now. It looks like Beastie Pet is typically the one that would be in the air position right here for the red team, and just not doing that job whatsoever. We do have a air lab up and running right now for LMJ005G. Probably supposed to be pronounced some sort of way, but I'm not bothered trying to figure that out. I do hear the abductor firing away over here. There it is. Trying, at the very least. Accidentally EMP'd its own stuff, I think. Yeah, the abductor is a little bit of a weird one. Fires that heavy EMP beam, and for what it's worth, can absolutely ravage units. They're really, really strong. That EMP beam does a tremendous amount of work, but also you got to take it with a grain of salt because it can only fire once, and every so often it's not exactly a reliable solution to every problem. Certainly sturdy enough to counter marauders is another use case that I've seen them used for, but yeah, definitely very tricky. Now this is risky. Advanced geothermal coming up right here. Definitely going to be quite powerful if we can get that up and running, but the Arbiters have already shown just how dangerous they can be firing away at this hillside. We have a spy bomb moving up here as well, which will be quite nice. Yeah, going to provide perfect vision so that we can actually see what's going on here. So that geothermal will be denied right there from Goph. Going to mean that the energy production is going to have to rely on backline economy, like this geothermal, and maybe a fusion reactor or advanced fusion reactor or something like that. And again, we're drawing more and more lines. Fusion reactor is up and running. Oh, okay, we're going for LRPCs. I wondered what the play was right here for the yellow commander, who at this point is relying on a lot of T2, but I just don't know if there's enough. More arbiters coming up right here as well. Do we have a T3 transition in the works right now for the blue team? I don't see one. Oh yeah, actually, I don't see a T3 transition. Yeah, nobody on the blue team really ready for T3. Not in the same scale that the yellow player is. Victor 12 here is going for a full-blown economic expansion. We've got Razorbacks coming up. We've got advanced fusion reactors coming up. We've got advanced energy converters. Everything is getting ready to scale into the epic late game. Razorbacks are already out on the front line. This tank should have a good view of those. Oh, it's just barely out of view of those Razorbacks. I think if the green commander right now saw those Razorbacks, it would absolutely trigger a T3 transition out of the out of the blue team, but just barely out of vision. Those Razorbacks, I mean, one step further and those Razorbacks would be spotted right here. So very, very fortunate at the very least for the the blue team that they didn't see those. Now the Razorbacks are spotted. That spy tank's so instrumental right now, allowing for that LRPC to fire away, well, medium range plasma turret. Goph's totally in position now. Oh, Goph, oh no. Ooh, don't like that at all. Okay, gets one of the Razorbacks. Just one though. Not ideal. Definitely not ideal. Vanguard marching forward here as well. The tick spam going to be tremendous. The ticks pushing forward give perfect vision for those Vanguard to fire away, and you can see just how devastating they are. Not a lot that can stand up to Vanguard firepower. Looks like a couple of Mauser and some Rattlesnakes and even a Gauntlet. It's like all three types of Armada artillery right there. All four actually. Shell Shocker, Gauntlet, Rattlesnake, and... Hold on, I want a clip of that. Whoops. Sorry, that's the wrong camera view. I do that all the time. That's hilarious. 1, 2, 3, 4 types of artillery right there. Maybe not as impressive as some of those T3 units, but I think that's pretty funny. What a turtled up position over here too. We have heavy laser towers and gauntlets and agitators and all sorts of stuff over on this line, trying to hold the defense for a Beastie Pet. I guess that's where all the metal is going, from that backline position. Just using it to set up tons and tons of static defense. I don't hate it, but I'd prefer it if it was T2. I think probably would work out a little bit better. Ooh, Spybot's looking for the connection over here. Yeah, Sheldon are firing away. Blasting down that Mammoth. There we go. All right, nice. That's a good catch right there. Yeah, Mammoth is going to fall. A lot of those Arbiters get EMP'd over here as well, which is quite nice. We desperately need some Fiends to take advantage of all that. There are some Shiva coming up, so yeah, exactly. T3 transition happens immediately as soon as the Razorbacks are spotted over here. You can see as well those Starlights doing good work here, trying to, make sure that there's absolutely no way that those Razorbacks are going to push forward. Down goes one of them. These things are absolutely the perfect counter to the T3 units right now, so I love to see that we're using these. Vanguard firing high into the sky here to arc down a couple of plasmatoid projectiles onto the geothermal. Pops a tremendous portion of the economy right here for Gov. That being said, there is an advanced fusion reactor up now, so at the very least that was about a fourth of the economy right here for the lime green commander, but the northern side is fumbling quickly. Yeah, we desperately need to see some sort of address to this army pushing in as well. Those Arbiters have no problem firing up and onto this hill here, so we're going to have to see some sort of address to those. The Mammoth here actually coming within range. Okay, I mean, wouldn't expect the Mammoth to be the solution right here, but it certainly seems like it's working. Blasting away tons and tons of those Arbiters. It certainly has the HP for it. This front line, yeah, collapsed. Commander popped, and I guess it took down all of the defenses here as well. That's why we don't rely on T1, and also why you got to keep that Commander clear. Can oftentimes do much more harm than intended. LRPC's firing over to this mountain. Not really a whole lot over here. Looks like the Gunslinger's finally traded out for some units over here. Love to see that. Micro's not looking perfect though. A little bit late to the micro right there. You know what? Not gonna matter though. That Gunslinger HP regen coming in clutch right there saves the Gunslinger from total destruction. All right, nicely done. One Gunslinger survives here. Surviving long enough to get a air lab up, actually, get some fighters running. Looks like the Lavender player has gotten into T2 air as well and has started pumping out those fighters. A little late in the game for it. I feel like definitely we could have seen some bombing runs. Very far forward T3 lab. Yeah, that's a bit of an interesting strategy here. We're tearing it down right now, so maybe regretting building that far forward T3 lab right there. I think that's probably the right idea. Oh, this plasma shield comes up and it's going to glance those LRPC shots across the map. My goodness, that scares me. Those LRPC shots can really go pretty far if they, yeah, they're glanced off of something like that. Shiva have been sent up north here to try and help out with the push. There is spy bots here as well. Love the mixture of compositions right there. Definitely helping quite a lot. Vanguards could certainly be doing some work on the front line here. There's some radar jammers up, which means that there's no vision right here for the Tan commander, and as well just basically everybody on the blue team right here. Spy tanks also helping quite a lot, providing a lot of 100% accurate vision, which is quite useful. Webbers helping this gunslinger farm XP here. Yeah, they paralyze the rovers and the gunslinger gets a free kill. All right, not bad. This is a weird way to farm XP, but you know what? I think it works. This gunslinger is slowly but surely leveling up. Its fire rate's increasing. Its range is increasing. Everything about it is getting better and better. Tactical missile launcher is built right here as well. The catalyst, capable of reaching out and hitting pretty hard here. Not within range of anything super critical though. Yeah, it has to be built right on the edge over here in order to actually hit anything super fundamental to the red team. For instance, all this economy back here. So I don't think it's going to be able to do all too much. At the very least, it'll crack some of these T1 defenses that have been set up. But other than that, I don't think it'll have too much success. Webbers have gone away at this point, leaving only the gunslinger. He's got enough experience to kill those units fast enough, though. Meanwhile, Razorbacks pushing in here. They do snipe a commander. Just like that, the Razorbacks managed to take down some of those super heavy T2 units. Bull's falling. Lightning's falling. Resbots here making this not a total loss, though. Mammoths also extremely difficult for T3 to deal with. So much health on those mammoths, it's really, really tricky to fight those. LRPC is doing a good job of dismantling a lot of this, though. Persecutor also firing away, doing quite a bit of damage. Shield generator just barely comes up in time. Going to keep the Cyan commander safe on the front line right here, at least from LRPC bombardment. Not going to save from Arbiter missiles or anything quite like that. Mammoth's doing the absolute most this game. Yeah, blasting away through and over and all around the corpses of their fallen brethren. Yeah, doing a lot of work right now, actually. Pushing the line, so to say. I'd love to see these mammoths accompanied by a whole bunch of res bots or some twitchers or construction bots or anything, really. The spy bot not really getting the miracle connection it was hoping for. Energy stall, actually, for the Seafoam commander right here. Definitely needs to get up to a fusion reactor or two. Setting up for a proper late game, though. There go those LRPCs continuing to shell away over here. My goodness, they can do some damage, huh? Firing away from such a long range and able to actually pop quite a lot of the economy over here. And gonna keep firing away. They're gonna fire at some units over here. Not my favorite thing. I think they definitely should keep reaching out into this base for the purple commander. Do we actually have vision of that base? So this is the red team vision right now. I really should showcase the vision screen a whole lot more. I feel like it gives a better indicator of what each team is looking at right here. So you can see a great scoping of exactly how the blue base is shaping up right now, but basically no vision of what's going on over in the center of the map whatsoever here. A lot of T2 walls coming up. Beamer turret's doing a great job of blasting on these grunts. Effectively, the grunts are just wasted metal at this point. Yeah, I mean, those T2 walls would be great against up to, any of the T3 units that can break through on that side. Other than that, though, those T2 walls are going to be basically useless. A legit pulsar with its mobile pulsar variants over here. Doing some good work against, those Razorbacks. That was a bit of a wasted shot right there, though. Yeah, you know what? Those Razorbacks just have so much sustain. They really can blast through basically any defense. Down goes a tremendous portion of the space. Get the build power out of the way, please. My goodness, we need to target that build power. There we go. Build power pops, and that's going to be effectively the space dealt with over here. There's also a whole bunch of nice tech buildings over here. We have the tremor sense building as well as a whole bunch of these pinpointers built back here. Very nice to shut those down. Makes everybody a little bit less accurate. Not sure if anybody else went for pinpointers. Usually one person goes for pinpointers. It's rare if more than one person on a match remembers to build pinpointers. Feels like one of those things that can be easily distributed between the costs of 8 different players, but typically it ends up being one player that remembers, and so they build all 3. Either way, though, those Razorbacks have pushed all the way through this base right here, and that is absolutely devastating. Razorback. Victor 12's Razorback is not in position right now, so this Razorback is going on a tear. My goodness, it's gotten all the way into the maroon economy over here, tearing apart whatever it can. Can we deconstruct it? Anything. Any response to this Razorback. It has 1 HP left. It manages to pop the entire economy. A little bit of a lack of initiative right there. Yeah, feels like those units just didn't manage to, they didn't have the heart today. I get it, man. The APMs have been absolutely taxed, but at that point, Zaya didn't feel like he was paying too much attention to the main base. Feels a little bit like a waste of potential. A couple of Razorbacks have gone on a tear over here, but the Shuriken have caught them, and now it will only be a matter of time before the Grunts slowly but very surely whittle them down, piece by piece, blast by blast, into effective nothingness. Nice D-guns from I Will Conquer. Keeping it cool, keeping it casual. This area's been EMP'd. Did we have an EMP missile built? Oh, tell me we had an EMP missile built, and I missed it. We must have, right? How else was all this EMP'd? I'm not sure. That or maybe a spy bot, but there's landmines too, so it couldn't have been a spy bot. It must have been a, yeah, it must have been an EMP missile that I'm missing somewhere around here. Usually they're not too hard to spot. Oh yeah, there it is. Right there in the middle of all of these. Yeah, there you go. You can see it charging away right here. Firing little EMP missiles right into the center of all this. So that's quite nice, actually. Yeah, I love the EMP missile. Gonna shut down those shields, which allows you to fire at all of the, well, everything over here. Yeah, plasma deflector goes down. 33 seconds that missile takes it down. Quite powerful indeed. Oh, the RPCs are targeting the advanced Geo. Yeah, A Polygon knows what he's aiming for. He's shutting down that shield so that he has a clear line of fire directly into the backline here so he can pop that advanced Geo. There we go. A couple of direct hits do take out that advanced Geo for the blue commander. We'll love to see this shield being blasted down too. That also opens up your options over here. Meanwhile, oh, the wall was just barely not completed. One wall segment too late. And yeah, a whole bunch of Grunts are now going to make it into the back. Now, beamer turrets are absolutely going to put in a tremendous amount of work here. But that is just about 4.5 billion Grunts. Absolutely no way they're going to be able to keep up with all that production. Yeah, there they go. The Grunts streaming through at this point. Not really any answer to these Grunts right now. We have a couple of Roughnecks up. That's not going to do all too much. Just like that, a whole bunch of T1 bots managed to push all the way through and into the heart of the yellow base. My goodness. Did not expect a simple grunt push to be so effective right here, and I doubt the blue commander expected that either. Yeah, a whole bunch of fiends are coming out right now from the brown commander, who must have suspected that his teammate was about to fall right here as he saw all these units push through. Eventually, it looks like these grunts are going to be cleaned up, but a lot of the build power went down right there. See, in fact, basically all of the build power went down right there. The brown units have stopped moving as well. 30-minute grunts OP. Yeah, apparently. Apparently. Catapult's now firing away from the Cyan commander, and you know what? Well, it looks like a tremendously effective push right here from the, an effective siege, I guess I should say. Yeah, most of these units were just sieging the LRPCs and whatnot. Suddenly has completely turned around, as now there's Karganath marching into the base here as well. They're not going to really care about too much of that T2. The fiends certainly hurt, but not too bad. Karganath going to be more than happy to blast them down with their multiple launch rapid fire rocket systems. Pitbull comes up, that's going to sting a little more. Yeah, about 5% per shot. Not bad. Massive airwave comes over on this side, though. There's a bunch of Roughnecks in the composition over here. That's a bit of a cheeky move. Yeah, just using those Roughnecks as a siege unit at this point. Really feel like we should go after the economy over here, but I guess not all too important. Just kill whatever you can, I suppose. Yeah, the T2 fighters are just having a field day going up against the orange player who just hasn't been amassing those T2s for nearly as long, and so just doesn't have the air forces in order to actually deal with all this. We need flak turrets yesterday. Little trashers are coming out now, the T1 anti-air bots. They're not going to be able to shut this down, not quick enough at all. Flag turrets are firing away at a lot of these gunships. Ugh, if we could just send the gunships back to the economy over here, it'd be tremendous. They're going to ravage this base over here. They must be a little confused as to where the actual production for the red player is. I mean, the Roughnecks are doing so much damage, but not nearly as much as they could have, I think. Yeah, I bet those Roughnecks could have absolutely killed this base over here. Oh, a couple of sneaky tanks. Yeah, a couple of cheeky beaky tanks sent over by Monkey RTS for sure as well. Sneaking their way across the map here. Gonna have a hard time sneaking past all this. Schnick. A lot of T3 coming across right now, though. Yeah, we're getting ready to push with a huge T3 army right now. The yellow player went up in smoke for those Karganeth. Okay. Sneaky beaky tanks have been caught right here. Razorbacks now pushing on the northern side as well. Wow. What a push. The blue team all getting T3 out at basically exactly the same time. It feels like using the ball at exactly the same time at the very least, and managing to send them across the map and doing tremendous damage. Down goes the tan player's base. It means that Lex only, the pink player, is going to be in a whole lot of trouble as well. Basically, these players in this position play in tandem. There we go. Down goes the pink base as well. All hope is lost right here for the center of the map for the red team. It's going to be on the outside edges to hold the lines at this point. Yep, Karganeth are headed up in this direction. It's probably a good decision. Karganeth going to do quite well against a whole lot of these grunts. A little bit more concerned about these Razorbacks coming up the line, though. Definitely going to be tricky to hold the position against all those. Persecutor over here doing great work, by the way. Firing away into these never-ending grunt streams. Hey, you know what? There we go. The Karganeth blasting down those Razorback quite quickly, actually. Enough Karganeth there to really do some serious damage, and then they're going to have a field day tearing apart all the rest of these grunts. Nicely done. Okay, yeah, no, just enough Karganeth right there, I think, to efficiently take down those Razorbacks. Very, very nicely done. Still, the story isn't told. These Razorbacks in the middle of the map aren't quite done. There's also some Pulsar, or some Starlights, rather, coming up over here. Interesting. I think I figured the reason why I get those confused so often is because they're effectively the same thing. They're just exactly the same thing, except one can roll around. One's a baby version of the other. Anyways. I will conquer now, spamming out a whole bunch of bots as well. Would love to see these dispersed over a little bit wider of an area. Just sending these across the entire middle of the map, although I guess there's Razorbacks coming out up there, so not really going to be too effective against those. Yeah, maybe it's fair then to spam them across the southern section. Karganeth absolutely having a field day right here, though. Shutting down a whole lot of these mammoths as they slowly but surely push up the hill. Mammoths correctly assume, though, that there's another option to take right here. They can just push through the walls over here. It looks like somebody on the red team did tap out. I think this is absolutely the right decision. Probably one of those fellers in the middle, I have to imagine. Another Thor coming up right there. There is a resurrected Thor being put back together by a whole bunch of Resbots. Yeah, sort of a stall out in the middle of the map here, but the damage has already been done, so the blue team knows all they really have to do is hold at this point, and their economic lead is going to continue growing. There's also a nuke that's being built right now. KD-149 building that nuke, trying their very hardest to it, at the very least. Karganeth now firing down off the hill and into this group of mammoths, actually giving the mammoths a decent opportunity to attack. Don't like that very much whatsoever. LRPC's firing into that cluster of mammoths as well. If you're going to group the mammoths up like that, you absolutely need to keep them moving. Okay, there we go. The mammoths start marching forward here. So much durability on these bad boys. So difficult to actually kill them. You can shoot at them all you want, but you're not going to bring them down unless you have some serious firepower. Scorpion turret. Definitely some serious firepower. Bulwarks as well. Ooh, tactical missile launcher. A little bit of friendly fire right there. If there's any unit that's going to care about friendly fire, though, it's not the Mammoth. The Bulwark's doing a great job here, and the Juggernaut, the closer it gets, the closer that shotgun blast is going to be as well, meaning that it's going to do quite a lot of damage. And Juggernaut having a field day, stomping over all these grunts. The Juggernaut does actually do a little bit of damage with its step, which is pretty funny. It's a little, you can see the little dust particles kick up right there. That does a little bit of damage. Meant to stop the Juggernaut from being blocked by other units. I believe it's called the Krog Crush, yeah. There it is. Third from the bottom right there. Pretty funny. Throws a Razorback out. Gonna be blasted down by that Juggernaut pretty easily, though. Quite nice. Love to see it. Thor's, meanwhile, going on a bit of a rampage. EMP missile's been used on the air labs over here, meaning they're going to be slowed on production for a good while. Titan is out. It's not going to have enough damage to shut down this Thor, though. The Thor need only fire once to take down a significant portion of his build power over here. Oh, he's going for the Aphises, actually. Okay. Whoa, Titan's gonna save the day, but just barely. There's 2 more Thors rolling in as well. Oh no. Yeah, these Thors are rolling right into the middle of this battlefield. Or right into the middle of this eco, rather. Oh, another one has come around the side, though. Oh, very nice. Yeah, huge collapse over there. My goodness, do you like roughnecks? Gotta get a clip of that as well. That's some roughnecks right there. About 300 roughnecks firing in unison. Thor's now about to pop the yellow base. Boom goes the base right there for a polygon. My goodness, that's a tough one to deal with. Those Thors are so difficult to hold off. We have some dense anti-air over here at the very least. We also have some of those long-range anti-air missiles, the Screamers. Gonna be quite nice, doing some AoE damage to a lot of these roughnecks. But man, those T2 gunships are pretty sturdy. There they go, firing away. Let's get another beautiful clip of all these roughnecks blasting away in unison. My goodness, are they good. They have essentially the DPS of a pawn. However, they don't suffer in the same way that the pawn does. Oh, looks like the red team has actually decided at this point that all efforts are fruitless and the blue team is going to be able to catch it. I just want to finish that thought, though. They don't suffer the same way that the pawn does from being overcrowded when you put too many of them in space. And I think it really makes them go pretty crazy when you start to amass them in tremendous numbers like that. But anyways, what an epic game of Beyond All Reason. Thanks a ton for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed. And I will see you in the very next video of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, folks.